Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in AppSex Online Support and Assignments tutorial for round 2 week 5. I am Zubia Razak from APS Chaktamni. The grade is 7 and subject is history. Precipice chapter number 7, Pakistan since creation. Objective is at the end of this week you would be able to understand about objectives, resolution, government policies of Ayub Khan, General Yahya Khan and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto from textbook pages 76 to 80. Task 1. Objectives resolution. When Pakistan came into being on 14 August 1947, there was an utmost need to make a constitution to run the system of the newly created country. The Government of India Act 1935 with certain changes and modifications was made the interim constitution of the state. Interim means permanent. On 12 March 1949, Liaquat Ali Khan, the first Prime Minister of Pakistan, presented the objectives resolution. It was unanimously agreed and the document was signed by all members of the Constituent Assembly. Unanimously means without any opposition. The objectives resolution stated that sovereignty belongs to Allah Almighty only and the constitution of the Pakistan would be framed in the light of Quran and Sunnah, fully observing the principles of democracy. The objectives resolution is used as the preamble or the opening document in the Constitution of Pakistan. The work on drafting the first constitution began on the same day when the objectives resolution was passed. After a period of 9 years, the first constitution of Pakistan was approved on 23 March 1956. According to this constitution, Pakistan was declared an Islamic republic and a parliamentary system of government was introduced. The president would be the head of the state, whereas the prime minister would be the head of the government. The constitution of 1956 was abolished after 2 years and 7 months by General Muhammad Ayub Khan, who was the commander-in-chief of the Pakistan Armed Forces. He imposed martial law on 8 October 1958 after removing President Iskandar Mirza from his office. Government policies of Ayub Khan 1958 to 1969. When the martial law was imposed, the country's law and order was in turmoil. Turmoil is a state of great disturbance, and political and economic crisis escalated. Hence, General Ayub Khan introduced a number of reforms to bring a revolution in Pakistan's economy. Ayub Khan introduced a very comprehensive program of local government, popularly known as basic democracies. 80,000 basic democrats were elected by the people to form a network of local government. General Ayub Khan was elected as the President of Pakistan by the Basic Democrats in 1960. He introduced Green Revolution by establishing an elaborate irrigation system and mechanized farming. The government started an extensive literacy program by building a number of schools and colleges throughout the country. Ayub Khan's government is also known for rapid industrialization in Pakistan. He paid special attention towards the foreign policy of Pakistan and signed different agreements with USA, France, China and the United Kingdom. He signed the Indus Water Treaty in 1960 with India to resolve the water crisis. In 1967, Islamabad was made the new capital of Pakistan. He took various steps to eradicate poverty and gave the country a new constitution in 1962. In 1965, he went for re-election. The elections were not supported by the people as feared, as movement of unrest began in the country against Ayub Khan, which resulted in the downfall of his government in 1969. He ruled the country for almost 11 years. His era is known as the decade of the economic development. General Yahya Khan. On 25 March 1969, General Yahya Khan took over as the martial law administrator and the president of Pakistan. Under the LFO legal framework order, General Yahya Khan announced new elections in the country. As a result of elections, Pakistan Awami League won the majority in East Pakistan and Pakistan People's Party gained majority in West Pakistan. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the leader of Awami League, demanded to become to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. However, no decision with a mutual consensus could be reached. The political crisis deepened when the session of the National Assembly was postponed for the indefinite period. The political situation in East Pakistan became worse, and India supported the rebels in East Pakistan. This resulted in the separation of East Pakistan and its emergence as a new state called Bangladesh. After this national tragedy, General Yahya Khan resigned and transferred powers to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, whose party had won the elections in West Pakistan. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. He took over as the president and chief martial law administrator on 20 December 1971. The most difficult task for the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was to restore democracy in the country. He focused on the formation of new constitution which was adopted on 14 August 1973. A parliamentary form of government was introduced where the prime minister would be the head of the government. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto invested in industrial development as he believed that it was the first and the foremost step to gain economic stability. He also nationalized all the industries, banks, and insurance companies. Bhutto's government initiated agricultural and land reforms and helped farmers to adopt mechanized farming. He formulated a stronger foreign policy of Pakistan. National elections were held in Pakistan in 1977, but the opposition parties accused Bhutto of large-scale rigging in the elections, which triggered a wave of violence throughout the country. On 5 July 1977, the Chief of Army Staff General Ziaul Haq dismissed Bhutto's government and took over the country as the chief martial law administrator. The country came under military rule for the next 10 years. These are home tasks for the day 1. Day 1 tasks completed. These are home tasks for the day 2. Day 2 tasks completed. Thank you and have a nice day.